Good day, this is Teacher Rowan. I'll be your guide in exploring Google Apps for education, for teaching and learning. In Google for Education, teachers can connect and collaborate easily while staying on task. It gives teachers the freedom to spend more time personalizing the learning experience and less time managing it. Students can learn essential skills such as 21st century problem solving, which they can use it in their future careers. As such, the accessibility features will also help and assist every learner to do their best work. Google offers different useful applications that we can use to connect education to technology. This will help our teachers as a 21st century educators to innovate and find ways on how to make teaching and learning more exciting, engaging, effective, and flexible to the demands of the society. Let's re-explore the education experience by discovering new angles to create, collaborate, and communicate as one. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Ang pagkatuto huwag gawing komplikado. Sulong edukalidad.
Good day, everyone. I am Sir Robbie, and together, we will learn the word of the future, robotics. Did you know that here in Educational Technology Unit, robotics is a priority to make every Filipino learners and teachers competent and meet the demands of the future global scene? Wherein teachers, students, and parents who wanted to learn robotics is just a click away for free. Robotics is an interdisciplinary field which integrates computer science and engineering. It involves design, construction, operation, and use of robots to assist human activities. Are you ready for this transformation? Soon in ICT's Educational Technology Unit. Come and join us and love the future para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gap where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Hello to our learners all over the Philippines. I am Tutor May, and right now We miss Tutor Ram and Tutor Jedi, but I know they will try their best so they can join us in our session for today. Once again, I am the program head of the English Junior High School Department for ETUlay, and I'm so proud that we have many students in our live session for today. Huwag kayong aalis because I know Tutor Ram and Tutor Jedi are trying their best so that they can teach you for English 10. Before we begin our lesson, let us greet the early birds in our comment section. Ang dami po ninyo actually. And I'm so glad that for English 10, maraming tumututok at maraming gustong matuto with Tutor Ren and Tutor Jedi. Hello po kay Angelica Asher Diarios Mariano and John Darrell Mendoza of Santa Lucia National High School. Hello also to Marinel Camahig of Godofredo Reyes Senior National High School. STO Camarines. I don't know if it's Camarines Norte or Camarines Sur. I would also like to greet those early birds in the comment section na kung hindi ko na ma-scroll up. But I have here Luis Errol Francisco, Blevery Ann Bermundo Rivera, and Rainiel Manabat De Vera. Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in for English 10. All right, so let me share the screen so that we can proceed to our lesson for today. Okay, so please be patient po ha, dahil as you know, si Teacher May po ay nag-iisa sa ating program. Okay, so I hope no na dumating na si Tutor Rem at si Tutor Juday para sa lesson natin. And like what you can see here, every 3:40 to 4:20 is English 10. Okay, English 10 po yan. So everybody, if you have classmates, friends na gustong matuto ng ating lesson for today, please share our session and please tell them to also share this session to their respective Facebook accounts so more grade 10 learners can learn with us. So here is the coterie of tutors from the division of Lapu-Lapu City. Hello po sa ating mga magigiting at mga masisipag na tutors coming from division of Lapu-Lapu City. And let us greet the early bird wanderers for English 10. So we have I think Tutor Juday and Tutor Rem will disclose and reveal our early bird wanderers if they will be in our session for today. Well, we know that March is a very special month because we are celebrating the National Women's Month celebration. So it's celebrating the empowerment of women and the importance of women in nation building. Sabi nga no, we make change work for women. So we're trying to equalize the two genders and offer them equal opportunities, equal chances, so we can both, the males and the females, both grow together in a very productive society. Okay, so great and learners, are you ready to wander as you wander with me? Okay, so patingin nga po ng comment section natin. Pa-comment nga po ng heart section kung lahat ay ready nang mag-wonder as we wonder. Okay, so ulitin ko lang po ha, Tutor Ram and Tutor Jedi are experiencing internet problem right now. Both of them po kasi sa lugar po nila ay hindi pa naaayos ang internet connection. Pero 'di ba, lagi naman natin silang nakakasama, no? For the past weeks, they're really trying their best para maturuan kayo. But at this moment, unfortunately, hindi na lumaban yung kanilang internet. And I'm so happy to be with you again. If you're ready to wonder as you wonder, please comment a heart section or react a heart in our live stream. Okay, yay! Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Cedric. And thank you, Krisha, for commenting a heart reaction. Okay, so for this time, we will be having a learning adventure, definitely with Teacher May. And the mantra of our tutors for English 10 is more will be reached as we teach. No, our tutors are coming from the southern parts of the Philippines, but it's not the reason they will not reach you, no? For all the learners from different parts of the Philippines, we are doing this so we can reach and teach you. Okay, don't forget to subscribe and follow to these accounts, DepEd TV Official, that's on YouTube. And we also have the Educational Technology on Facebook and YouTube also, and DepEd ETUlay. Again, please like, follow, and share these accounts so we can reach more learners and help more learners with their module. Time flies so fast, especially when we are enjoying, and we never notice that it's already the fifth week of the third quarter. Konti na lang at konti na lang at malapit na nating matapos ang school year na ito. Okay? So, these are the best outputs, but I know that this will be discussed by Tutor Ira, by Tutor Juday and Tutor Rem. Tutor Ira, by the way, is a dear friend of mine. So, we have several stops here. We have Review Spot, Trail Thrill, Treasure Hunt, Final Trail, and learning postcard. Okay, pagpasensyahan niyo na po kung naririnig niyo ngayon na medyo kinakabahan si Tutor May. Yes, I will be very honest with you that I am quite nervous because I know that shooter Rem and shooter Juday are very good shooters. No, mahirap pantayan ang mga magagaling na shooter ninyo sa English din. Okay? And the last stop will be, I think this is learning goals. Okay? So let's begin. Okay? Let's have our learning adventure. All right? So we are now on the fifth week, and we will be talking about formalist and structuralist approach. I hope you will be with me and you will stay tuned to learn about these two schools of thought in literature. So when you were in grade 7, you talked about literature. You had an introduction of what literature is. When you were in grade 8, you learned about Asian African literature. When you were in grade 9, you were more immersed with other kinds of literature. Now that you are in grade 10, you have to know you must know how to approach and to understand literary works using different schools of thought. And for this session, we will be talking about formalist and structuralist approaches. All right? I think everyone is ready. So we have two challenges, and you will be earning 15 tokens. And these are the references that we use for our session today. So we used the modules coming from DepEd Navotas and DepEd Cordillera Administrative Region. Last time po, nasa Mountain Province kami. And hello po sa ating mga teachers, guro at administrators ng Mountain Province and definitely sa kabuuan ng CAR. Hello din po sa ating mga educators and learners from SDO Navotas. You can greet your classmates and your teachers in the comment section and let us share the love. Okay, so last time you discovered that a critique contains a careful evaluation. So when we say critique, it's not a shallow observation of what a text is. We are analyzing certain elements of a text. So what are these elements? First, we are studying the characters, how the characters were portrayed in a story. We call that as characterization. We also study the setting, the conflict, the plot, the theme, and then the style. Can you tell me the last element that we study when we are making a critique? Everybody, can you tell me the last element that we study aside from these things that you can see on the screen? Can you tell me the last element that we are studying when we are doing a critique? Okay, I am now looking at the comment section, checking if you have your answers already. Okay, I will give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's see. Let's see the Okay, let's see the message of Ma'am Rems. She is trying po. Okay, so can we see meron bang ibang sagot? Okay, so I think you are bidding your time to think about our past lesson, but it is dialogue or how the characters converse in the story. Aside from that, you also discover that in assessing the said elements, there are certain questions that the critique. So last time it's critique, critique, the paper that we're doing as a person, as a critique, critic. These are the questions that you should be asking. Okay. So, is there a conflict in the story? Very good dialogue. So ngayon pa lang naglo-load yung question, yung answers ninyo, but I appreciate that you are conversing with me through the comment section. So as a critique of a story, these are the questions that you have to ask first. Is there a conflict in the story? So lahat ng storya or lahat ng kwento ay may problema. Now you have to spot ano yung problema ng isang literary work. Second, is the plot interesting, original, and well-developed? Sometimes there are stories na ang plot ay medyo nakakabitin. Hindi cohesive ang plot, yung series of events. Parang they are not put well together, right? And it makes a story very bad. We want a story na we can really know the next, may sense of predictiveness, right? And when a plot is not that cohesive, sometimes nawawala din yung ating pagka-interesado on continuing what the next events would be. Are there unnecessary and confusing subplots? Aside from that, how well does the story speak to the readers? Can you really relate with the characters? Does the conflict speak well with you? Do you share the same conflict with the characters? It's important that a story is relatable to the audience, di ba po? Now, in the comment section, while I am reviewing these things, meron ba kayong storya na nabasa that you can really relate with the conflict or the characters? Okay, so please share with me a story that you can really relate with the characters or the conflict of that literary piece. Next question. Does it raise questions about life or provide profound insights? That's for the theme. Now let's go to other questions here. How distinctive or unique is the writing style? Okay, next, are there literary devices or techniques used? Does the style remind you of any other authors you have read? Definitely. Merong mga writers na na-inspired din sa ibang mga writers. That's why yung style ng isang writer pwedeng magkaparehas. Pwedeng meron silang point of similarity. But we know that writers have their own uniqueness. However, yung mga next generation of writers, meron silang mga models of writers. That's why may mga learned writing style na magkaparehas, medyo magkaparehas. Okay? So, now you recognize the critique format for fiction or literature. Okay? So, the third one is conclusion, di ba? That's the last part. Can you tell me the mid part or the second part of a critique? Ano ba yung if we're doing a critique, if the last part would be called a conclusion, ano naman kaya yung tawag dun sa mid part or dun sa body ng ating critique? Now I am looking at your answers in the comment section. Can you tell me? We have three parts for the critique, right? What's the second part? Let's see. Okay, Rona Jane said the first one is introduction. Rainiel followed the answer with the body. Let's see if your answers are correct. Very good. I'm so proud of you. So if you're making a critique, it's like making an essay. It should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And remember, no, it's very important for you grade 10 learners, now that you are gearing towards becoming senior high school students, you know that most written work, most of them have this format: introduction, body, and conclusion. Now let's go to our second stop, the trail thrill. And this is your first challenge, okay? What do you know? That's the question I want to ask you. Let us review what you learned from our past lesson, okay? And as also a connection and preparedness for our new lesson for today, these are the questions I'm going to ask you. Okay, so question number one: which of the following refers to the evaluation, analysis, description, or interpretation of literary works? Is it A, literary criticism, B, literary approach, or C, literary device? I'll be giving you 3 seconds to think about your answer. I'll appreciate if you will be putting the number or the item that you are answering and then the letter of your answer. Okay. So I'll be giving you 3 seconds. Let's do it. One, two, and three. Okay? Medyo mabagal lang po yung dating ng mga comments, pero I am waiting for your answers. The answer for number one is if you answer the letter, if you answered letter, ayan, letter A yan, okay? So, medyo na-move lang yung ating square. Pero the right answer is letter A, literary criticism. Okay? Tandaan na ang ating keyword because we will be discussing more of literary criticism in the other parts of our lesson. Let's go to number two. Ready na ba ang lahat? Very good that you got the correct answer. Okay? Like Cyrene, Mary Jane, Marjorie, Rovic, Claudine, Baby Marjorie, and Janice. Kung hindi matawag ni Teacher May ang inyong mga pangalan, huwag kayo magtatampo ha. Okay, now let's have number two. What literary criticism approach analyzes the structure or form of each individual part of a story and focuses only on the text itself? A, is it moralist approach? B, formalist approach? C, Marxist approach? Again, you have 3 seconds to think about your answer, okay? So, one, two, three. Okay, so I can feel that someone is in the StreamYard already. If you are in the StreamYard already, kindly PM me on Facebook because I cannot see the messages coming from StreamYard. Okay, let's have number two, huh? Let's see if you can derive at the correct answer. Most of you answered letter A. Nako, tama kaya yan? Let's see. Because the time is up, let's reveal the correct answer. And the correct answer is, ta-da, letter B, formalist approach. So it's not letter A. By the word moral, it is about the lessons we can derive from a text. But based on the question, it pertains to a formalist approach. Okay? Hang in there because we will be discussing what formalism is. Okay? I know you're excited to know number three, and I will be going to number three. Let's have it now. Which of the following is true about formalism? It is concerned with the historical events outside of the story, cultural, and religious beliefs. It's for letter A. B, it uses quick reading to get the main idea of the text and compares it with other related works. Letter C, it analyzes the work as a whole, the form of each individual part of the text from the individual scenes and chapters, elements, and literary devices. Again, number three for 3 seconds. I hope you grades and learners can arrive at the correct answer. Your 3 seconds starts. One, two, and three. There you go. And most of you answered letter C, like Rona Jane, George J, Nicole John, Daryl, Jovan Karatay. There you go. Okay, so let's reveal the correct answer. And the correct answer is letter C. Wow, I'm so proud of you. Yes. Okay, so based on the definition of, or based on the question that we had for number two, I think it helped you to arrive at the correct answer for number three. Yay! Way to go, Wanderers! We have 3 questions there. So it's 3/3. Pasensya na kung hindi ito nabago ni teacher. So let me know how many correct answers you got from our second stop. Did you get 3 over 3? Please comment it in the comment section and please be honest in saying your correct answers so Teacher May can know if you are on your way to understanding our lesson for today. And I will be waiting for your comments. Kindly comment the number of correct answers that you get from that one. Okay? So our first challenge is already done. Let's proceed to the next part of our lesson. We're now on treasure hunt, and before we have more things about formalism, let's share a fun fact. Do you know that reading does not only build vocabulary and strengthens the brain, a brain exercise for you, it also reduces stress and lessens depression symptoms. By reading books, you take a break from focusing on the stressful and depressing realities of life. 'Di ba? Kapag nagbabasa tayo, we tend to forget our problems, especially you, grade 10 learners. I know you have your own problems, your own burdens. Marami kayong kinakaharap na anxiety. Syempre, magsi-senior high school na kayo. Anong strand ang pipiliin ko? That is one of the conflicts that you are facing right now. But one of the ways to distress is to read a book. Okay? So congratulations to those who got 3 over 3. I'm so proud of you. Kung nagkamali man ng isa or dalawa, huwag mag-alala because Teacher May is here to help you. I know it's one of your problems na kung hindi ako nakakasabay. Pero don't worry because I will be here to guide you every step of the way. So let's talk more about reading. And now you're grade 10, we're not just comprehending a literary work, but we have to analyze it using schools of thought. So we are now stepping to more, we are now stepping to being more critical readers, okay? More critical readers. So if you reach this moment, congratulations, because you're on your way to developing yourself as a critical reader. Okay, so here are our objectives. First, define formalist and structuralist criticisms. I know that that's a tongue twister. Second, explain the principles of formalist and structuralist criticisms. That's my second try pronouncing structuralist, and I'm getting tongue twisted again. Our last objective is to analyze a literary selection using a formalist and structuralist approach. Now, on my third try, I succeeded. Okay, so these are our learning goals for our lesson for today. Now, let's talk about literary criticism. I hope you have your pen and notebook with you so that you will be writing down the important things that you will be learning for today. Hindi ibig sabihin na grade 10 learners marami na at mature ay hindi na tayo magsusulat. You know that when you're writing down notes, it helps you to remember important things a lot better, okay? So a literary criticism refers to the act of interpreting and studying literature. You know, literature is very important to study because they mirror our struggles in every generation. Alam natin na bawat generation ay gumagawa ng literature. So when we study literature, we get to experience the struggles, and we get to meet the kind of people that lived in the past years. So literature is not just a thing we have to study because it's told by our teachers. Remember, we can learn a lot when we study literature, especially when we analyze and when we do a literary criticism of literary works. Now, literary criticism is also an intensive academic work that scrutinizes and assesses the work of literature. That's why it's not just enough that you understand a story. You go beyond. Teacher, how do we go beyond? And how do we really understand a literary work under a school of thought? Okay, let me guide you. Aside from that, when we why do we criticize or why do we do literary criticism? Thank you for watching, everybody. First, to analyze, study, and evaluate works of literature. Are they really important? Do they really deserve to be studied? No, hindi lahat ng sinusulat ay worthy basahin. Is it really contributing to what we are as humans? is the literary work really exemplary to be passed on to future generations? So literary criticism is a crucial work of really looking into the importance of a text and its value. Next, to form general principles for the examination of works of literature. Again, hindi lahat ng sinusulat ay dapat basahin at dapat pag-aralan. When we're doing literary criticism, that's the time we are evaluating the worthiness of something that was written by someone. Okay, I think that's the same slide. So, uh, as a literary critic, here is what you're going to do. First, you have to explain and attempt to reach a critical understanding of what literary texts mean in terms of their aesthetic, social, political, and cultural statements and suggestions. It's not easy to be a literary critic, but we will try. There's magic in trying. It's not easy, but when you try, magic happens. Next, as a literary critic, you have to reach a logical and reasonable understanding of not only what a text author's intends to, but also what different cultures and ideologies render it capable of meaning. I know it's not easy to do a literary criticism, but we will try again. Magic happens when we try. Okay, so learners, grade 10 students, there are various approaches or styles in analyzing a literary piece. Parang, di ba, ang isang, let's say, ang isang figure, meron tayong iba't ibang paraan sa pagtingin. Or sa isang issue, we can come from, like example, issue ng pagtaas ng sahod, di ba? That issue of raising the minimum wage, it can be looked at by many people from different angles. What do I mean by that? It can be studied and looked by teachers, by construction workers, by freelancers. So you have different lenses to view a literary work. And one of the lenses that we will be studying today is formalism, okay? Or the formalist approach and structuralist approach. We will be studying two approaches. So these terms are kind of intimidating because ano ba yung formalist? Ano ba yung structuralist approach? So we will be learning them today. Okay, so when we say formalist approach, listen carefully, everybody. It's about the form. Okay, mas madaling tandaan. Okay, when I hear the word formalist, I can remember that it's about form. Okay, so it analyzes the structure or form of each element of a story. It provides readers with a way to understand and enjoy a literary work for its inherent value. You will not study the history of the text, bakit ba siya sinulat, ano ang talambuhay ng author. You won't study those things. You will just study the text, the elements of a text to derive a meaning, at a good critique of that literary work. Now, how would you be able to understand the symbols, the characters, the many meanings that are coming from a text? We have to do a close reading. You will not read at it na parang nagbabrowse ka lang. You will really have to study a text. Now, when we're doing a close reading, we analyze and create deeper understanding of the text. It also focuses only on the text itself. Katulad ng sinabi ni Teacher Ning, when you're doing close reading, you list down the characters. You take note of the features of the characters. Example, sa isang text, merong tatlong characters or dalawang characters. Sige, meron tayong protagonist and antagonist. Aalamin mo ngayon kung sino yung protagonist, sino yung antagonist. How is their characterization? Ano yung special characters or ano yung special sa personalities ng mga characters na ito? Also look at the settings. Saan ba nangyari ang storya? 'Di ba? Saan siya nangyari? Meron ba tayong mga ginamit na salita na very important sa text? Meron ba tayong mga symbols? We highlight that and we take note of those things. Because again, we're looking at the form. We're not looking at other things like the history of the text, the history of the author. Meron bang rhyme? Lalo na sa poetry, no? Laging ginagamit din ng formalism. Kasi bakit? Because nakikita mo talaga kasi yung form sa isang poetry or sa isang poem, sa poetry, okay? So may rhyme ba siya? Meron ba siyang stress, unstress? May rhythm ba siya? So ilang syllables yan, no? Ilang stanzas yan? Meron ba siyang form? Is it like a figure poetry? So sa formalist approach, yan lalo nakikita. Minsan, kadalasan siyang ginagamit sa poetry kasi doon talaga nakikita yung form ng isang literary piece. Okay? So again, formalism surveys the theme, characters, plot, and symbols among many other else. So hindi lang natin sinosurvey ang characters, plot, and symbols, many other things pa, basta elements ng isang literary work. Now, example of a of deriving meaning using formalist approach is the author candidly, absurdly presented the character's persona to depict the different voices the character has to deal with inside his head. Look at the sample. We talked about how the author presented the character. The author presented the character absurdly, nakakatawa. And bakit nakakatawa yung pagpapresent ng author ng character? Because the character is someone who's dealing with mental issues, the voices in his head. Kaya pala siya, he is acting so weird. He is acting so absurd. So that is a sample of a formalist approach at work. Okay? So I know it's getting higher. Medyo technical lang ating lesson, but I hope you will be patient and learning how to do a formalist approach, okay? So aside from that, beliefs of formalism, let's talk about this. It attempts to discover meaning by reading closely a literary piece. That means the piece itself reveals its meaning. Yung meaning ng literary piece, sabi ng formalism, hindi mo siya nakukuha sa history ng author, sa milieu ng literary work. It is the meaning you can derive from the literary piece itself. Hindi ka titingin sa ibang issues, context, tingnan mo lang yung literary piece. Because we have symbols, characterization, setting, and plot that give the meaning and the value of the literary piece. And you have to focus on form, organization, structure, word choice, and the multiple meanings of words. Okay? So, hindi ka talaga aalis. No, you will not study anything. You just have to focus on the text. Aside from that, it considers the work in isolation, disregarding the author's intent, background, context, and anything else outside of the literary work. Here is what I'm talking about. No, wala kang ibang babasahin kundi yung text itself. But you have to apply your knowledge about literary elements. Yung ating mga rhyme, yung structure, ilang stanza ito, no? Ano ang kanyang measurement? Okay, so doon siya. It's an application of your literary knowledge. Aside from that, when we're having formalism, it looks at the structure and elements of the entire literary work, and it considers the characterization, structure, story elements, meaning, and symbols. Okay, so now when you are a formalist critic doing a formalist approach to a literary work, here are the questions that you have to ask yourselves. First, what is the genre, form, and structure of the literary piece? Is it poetry? Is it essay? Is it a play? So first, talk about what is the genre of the literary piece you're studying. What is the structure? Gaano siya kahaba? What is the form? And who is speaking? Okay? Was it narrated by a first person? Is it narrated using a first person narrative, a second person narrative, or a third person narrative? Ngayon, kung ang perspective ay third person, bakit siya third person? What is the value of having a third person perspective to the literary text? Is it giving an omniscient view of the text? Pag first person kasi 'di ba, it's more of a personal experience. All of those things are being studied in under formalism, 'di ba? Omniscient ba siya? Limited ba ang kanyang perspective? Bakit limited? Bakit omniscient? Ano ang importance nito in understanding the text? Second, how does the piece of literature make use of the setting? Next, how do the story elements work together? That's why it's an application of your knowledge of literature. Okay, next, how does the conflict affect the character's action? Okay, how do they deal with the conflict? Now, what is the conflict? Is it person versus nature, person versus himself, or person versus what's the other one, versus machine? Okay, we have different types of conflict, and you have to know that. Bakit ganun yung conflict na sinet ni author? What is its importance? What is the importance of that type of conflict in understanding the text? Okay, and next, what do the objects, events, images, or actions symbolize? So example na, magbigay tayo ng example. How My Brother Leon Brought Home a Wife. That is a literary piece that you read when you were in grade 7. If I am not mistaken, How My Brother Leon Brought Home a Wife was told in a first person perspective, no? Siya ay kwento ni Baldo. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, that's a first person narrative because the author is trying to have an audience feel. Parang nandun din tayo along with the travel of Maria going to the hometown of Baldo and Leon. Second, meron tayong mga symbols there like the smell of papaya. 'Di ba? So, meron daw ibang meaning yung papaya image dun sa story. And depende dun sa literary teacher ninyo on how he or she will give the meaning of that symbol. 'Di ba sabi doon na Maria, yung smell ni Maria is as sweet as papayas in bloom, something like that. So yung mga imagery na yon, it has meaning. Hindi siya nandoon just to describe. Siyempre, the author would be using words because they have importance. Merong symbolic meaning. And that is being studied under a formalist approach. Okay? And these are the questions. Other than that, these are the questions that you can ask. How the work is structured, how it begins, how it is advancing or transiting to the next line, how it ends, how the plot is built, how each part of the work relates to the work as a whole, how the narrator or speaker narrates the story, the perspectives, important yan, grade 10 learners ha, first person ba yan, second person ba yan, or third person? Because depending on the perspective, it gives us the clue or it gives us the eyes. Paano natin titingnan yung isang storya. Aside from that, what is the point of view of the narrator? Who are the major and minor characters? How the characters are related to one another? Are they friends? Are they siblings? Are they enemies? Are they neighbors? What are the actions of the characters? Is the character good? Is the character shy? Why is the character shy? Baka meron siyang alter ego or baka meron siyang hidden character, 'di ba? Yun po yung isa sa mga inaaral doon. What are the literary devices used? Meron ba diyang simile? May metaphor ba yan? May onomatopoeia ba dyan? Meron bang allegory dyan? Bakit may allegory? Okay? And how the literary devices function to create meaning. Okay? Now, meron tayong isang approach pa, structuralist, okay? So, I hope nandyan pa kayo because we have two schools of thought that we have to learn today. I honestly think na medyo mabigat, but let's try our best to understand these approaches. Next, lesson naman, i-recap ulit siya ni Tutor Juday at Tutor Ren. So when we say structuralist approach, it's all about structure. If formalist approach is all about form, structuralist approach is all about structure of the text, the underlying universal structure. So we have to look at the intertextual connections. How is a literary piece connected to other pieces of literature? Okay? Meron ba tayong motifs na magkaparehas? Okay, example, anong mga literary piece yung about sa growing up, 'di ba? Lalo na sa Wattpad, 'di ba, makikita mo na meron silang pare-parehas na structure. Meron doong rich versus poor, meron dong rags to riches, meron dong mafia na in love sa isang innocent girl. Those are structures and intertextual connections that we are making. We just don't notice it, but when we are highlighting the similarities of one piece of literature to another, we're actually looking at the intertextual connections and the similarity of the structure of each part. Okay? Ayan. So, I think I am experiencing a bit of internet. Ayan. So, ayan na po. No? Tumingin lang ako kasi parang nawala yung live ko. And then, may motives ba? May patterns? So, alin mga storya ang talking about, let's say, persistence, 'di ba? Talking about the struggles of adult life, of growing up. Example, the perks of being a wallflower and Catcher in the Rye. Okay, Catcher in the Rye. So, yun yung mga literary pieces na may parehas na motifs. Yung growing up and facing, yung transition between or yung transition being a teenager to being an adult. It's not easy, but those works of literature has the same motive. Yung Catcher in the Rye and the perks of being a wallflower. So I hope you read them. Aside from that, what patterns in the text reveal its similarities with other texts? That's a question you have to raise as a structuralist. Okay? So here it is. No, example na, kung may example tayo ng form kanina, formalist, may example din tayo under structure realist approach. Observing patterns in literature, critic Northrop Frye coined the term green world to describe the practice of release and reconciliation to which characters retreat in Shakespeare's festive comedies. Okay? So, Shakespearean works, no? Pwede mo rin siyang gamitin ng structuralist approach. Pwede mo rin siyang gamitin ng formalist approach. But hindi sila magkaparehas sa Grayton learners, hindi sila magkaparehas. They are different schools of thought. However, what is their similarity? Hindi sila tumitingin sa historical context, sa biographical information ng author. It's just about the text. Pag form, formalism. Pag structure, structuralism. So I hope you're getting the point. But next week, this will be elaborated on further so you can achieve more understanding of these two schools of thought. These schools of thoughts these schools of thought are not easy to understand. That's why we're trying to give it gradually. Okay, so if you're kind of frustrated, ano ba yun? Big terms yun, technical terms, don't worry. You have all the time to study them. You can study it this week and teacher Juday and tutor Rem will recap these concepts for you. Okay, so meron pa tayong example, but I think we can go now to the fourth stop, which is our final thrill. And this is your second challenge. Okay, are we ready? So, kung nabibilisan tayo, medyo pasensya na ha, because kailangan talaga nating makuha yung concepts ng formalism and structuralism. All right? So, give a happy face, comment a happy face if the statement describes a formalist or structuralist critic. Otherwise, give a sad face. That means kung true yung statement, smiley. Kung false yung statement, sad face. Okay, let's have number one. I think everyone is ready. A formalist critic must be a close and careful reader who examines all the elements of a text individually to discover how they form an organic unity. Okay? Is it a smiley or a sad face? Comment your answer on the comment section and I will be waiting for your answers. Let's see what will what will be your answers? Ginaline, happy face. Luis, happy face din. Si Kathleen, happy face din. So let's see if your answers are correct. 5 seconds, pero okay na ata yun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. The answer is a happy face. Di ba sabi natin, under formalism, there should be a close reading of the different elements of a text so you can derive at the meaning of the literary work you're studying. So the answer for number one is a happy face. Let's have number two, and let's see if it's true. A structuralist critic questions how story elements come together to create a work of art. Is it true? How story elements come together to create a work of art, especially the story elements between literary works. Okay, is it true? Happy face or false sad face? Okay, let me see if you will be getting the correct answers. 5 seconds. Number two, ha? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I'm now looking at your answers on the comment section. Most of you are still answering number one. Don't worry, I think it's because of the internet connection that I have here in my place. And let's see, time is up, and most of you answered a sad face. Tingnan nga natin. Meron ding happy face. This is quite a confusing term, and let's see if the correct answer is your answer. The answer is then a sad face. No, story elements is for formalism. Formalism siya. Number three, a formalist critic looks beyond the work by reading the author's life or literary style. Are we really looking at the author's life if we are a formalist critic? For number three, is it a sad face? Or a happy face? Yay! Okay, 5 seconds for number three. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's see if you will be getting the correct answer for number three. Are we really looking or are we really studying the biographical information if we are a formalist critic? Let's see your answers. And your answers are mostly a sad face. Okay, let's see kung sad face ba talaga yung sagot. And yes, sad face. Di ba sabi nga natin, it's only the work that we will be looking at. We don't have to look at the historical context, the social milieu, or the biographical information because that's another school of thought or literary approach. Remember, formalism and structuralism, ang common sa kanila, text lang ang titingnan natin. Number 4, ready na ba kayo? A formalist critic examines the work's historical background and condition of the society. Oh, is it true or false? Okay, so 5 seconds to think about the correct answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tingnan natin if you will be again getting the correct answer. So, is a formalist critic really be studying the historical background and condition of the society? Let's see if you will be getting the correct answer. And most of you gave me a sad face. Tingnan natin kung tama pa rin ang inyong mga sagot for number 4. If you answered a sad face, tadaan, then you are correct. Katulad ni Arayu. Yay, Carol. That's for number 3, Carol. Si Nagesh Lay Prades and Gracie. Tama kayo. Now, let's have number 5, everybody. And I still have a huge number of viewers. Maraming salamat for tuning in. And I would like to apologize because, I'm a grade 7 teacher, but as a program head, I should be knowing these things, okay? And I hope you enjoyed the session with me. And now we're down to the last number 5. A structuralist critic examines how the writer conveys meaning through structures. Okay, I think I gave the keyword already, but let's see if you will be getting the correct answer. Again, 5 seconds. Kung true siya, happy face. Kung false siya, sad face. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's see your answers in the comment section. Oh, sabi ni Ron na happy face. Tingnan ko nga, Rona, kung tama ang sagot mo. Parehas kayo ng sagot ni Faith, actually. Parehas din kayo ng sagot ni Ara. Let's see if that is correct. And chananan, your answer is correct. Okay, happy face siya. Now, I want to know how many correct answers you got from our final thrill. Maging honest po tayo sa pagsasabi ng tamang sagot para masasabi ni Teacher May na tutor Rem, tutor Juday, eto sila, ganito yung mga nakuha nila and they are really learning well. Again, please put the number of correct answers that you got from this activity so I can relay to teacher or tutor Rem and Tutor Juday na eto ang performance ninyo for this lesson. Hindi sila nakapasok grade 10 learners but I'm sure they will try their best to teach you next Tuesday. Okay? Bravo! You got 10 over 10. Congratulations, Ara, for getting a perfect score. Way to go. Parehas kayo ni Florecita, Lumelay. Stephanie has one mistake. Okay lang yan, Stephanie. You have all the time to study about formalism and structuralism. They are not easy terms to study and to master. Actually, kahit kaming mga English teachers, we take our time in understanding these schools of thought because we want them to really teach, because we want them to teach correctly, okay? But it's not easy, so take your time and don't be anxious kung medyo nalilito ka pa at this moment, okay? So there you go. So please pause or you can take a screenshot of the selection that we have right now. So this one is the origin of rice and streams. Okay? I-screenshot po natin ha. I-screenshot natin siya because ito yung gagamitin nating selection to apply what we learned today. So, analyze the selection using the formalist approach. Okay, screenshot po natin ha in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I hope nakuha niyo po ang screenshot ng text na iyan. Okay, 5 seconds again. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I hope nakuha po natin. So eto yung gagawin natin, no? Analyze the selection using the formalist approach. Pero may table tayong gagamitin. Hindi namin kayo iiwan na hayaang i-analyze yung text na mag-isa. You will be guided. And your guide will be this table. So character, setting, conflict, and plot. Again, 5 seconds to take a screenshot of the table. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, ibig sabihin, kanina po, meron tayong dalawang slides. Continuation po yan of the text that you will be analyzing. Now, using this table, you will be analyzing the text using the formalist approach. And please submit your work to Tutor Rem and Tutor Juday. Okay? So, I hope po everything is clear. If you have questions po, pakilagay lang po sa comment section. I will be trying my best to answer them before tayo mag-say bye-bye. Okay, thank you po kabusuro si mga Salvador. Sana kamukha ko din. At kasing sexy ko din. Pero hindi eh. Okay. So, another one. So, yun ay 1 to 4. Meron pa tayo 5 to 7. So, you will be guided with 7 points. Okay? So, 5 seconds again to screenshot your table that you will be using to make a formalist approach. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I hope SSD means screenshot. Okay, so baka term 'yan ng mga ng mga generation alpha na hindi ko po alam, okay? So can you help me, what's the meaning of SSD? Is it screenshot? So help me ha kasi Tutor May is teaching grade 7 and grade 3 learners. Kaya po, kung mapapansin nyo, medyo jolly si Teacher May because I am teaching primary level. So what's the meaning of SSD? Is it solid state drive? No? Computer ba yan? Pero help me in understanding that term, okay? Thank you so much, our grade 3, ayan, kakasabi ko lang grade 3, di ba? Pero aside from that pala, meron pang isa. Analyze Sonnet 127 using structuralist approach. I'm not Tutor Joy po, I'm Tutor May. Magkadikit, magka-parehas po. So, fifth stop, one is to apply structuralist criticism using Sonnet 127. And I think this is Shakespeare's Sonnet 127. Again, may dalawa tayong gagawin ha. One is Formalist Approach, use this table, and use Sonnet 127, and analyze, criticize the work using a structuralist approach. This is the link or QR code to submit your outputs. A screenshot done. Thank you, John Jasper Boris, for helping me know what SSD means. Screenshot done po. Oh, thank you so much, grade 10 learners. Nakakatuwa na kahit grade 10 na kayo, no, you share what you know to your teachers. Actually, hindi ko yan alam. First time ko lang nalaman yan. And thank you for sharing your knowledge. Again, there's the link or the QR code so you can submit your outputs. One for formalist approach and second for structuralist approach. Okay, there you go. I hope you will be taking a screenshot of those things. So Tutor Jedi and Tutor Rem could really look at your outputs next week. Okay, so let's summarize what we learned today. Formalist approach focuses on the text itself, the form of the text. Structuralist approach relates literary text to a larger structure, interconnectivity, the connection of one text to another. And we have discovered that we have to make close reading when we are to apply these approaches, and we have to focus on the text itself. And these are the different things we have to consider when we are using the structuralist approach. These are our references, and you can also feedback my session. I will appreciate if you will be giving me a feedback how our session went on. Okay, so I think that's it. Here are your tutors for English. Okay, so I am Tutor May again, your program head for English Junior High School. Okay, so I will be seeing you next week. Okay, so I'll be going back to the StreamYard. There you go, stop screen. So thank you so much for being with me. Medyo haggard lang si teacher dahil hindi na nakikita ang sarili sa screen. But thank you for being with me. Okay, so once again, have a nice week and see you next Tuesday. Bye! Thank you so much, everybody!
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!